2, 1.
Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Today my guest is Anthony Hitt, and Sean's doing the actual video for us today. And we're on the new farm that we've been working on. You bought this farm back several years ago. Tell just a real brief history about the farm here, Anthony.
Well, actually, my family homesteaded this farm back in 1876, so it's been in my possession now officially since my father passed in 2016.
Yep.
And then over the years, we lost a lot of the land for different reasons, and we've acquired almost everything back from the original farm, and now we're adding on to it. And we're a disciple of Greg Judy here, so we're following your your path and what we're doing here, and having you help us do a lot of the things in the beginning, which has been really nice.
Yeah, well, you know, you're out here in pretty flat ground, and there's some hills to it, but you took a previous crop farm. Even before I met you, you'd already drilled Kentucky 31 in here.
Yeah, we'd already decided about 3 years ago that this was going to be no longer we were going to have any chemicals on the farm.
Yep.
We had already gotten rid of all of our soybeans and corn that's been here for oh my gosh, since my entire lifetime.
Yeah.
And decided we were going to go down the road of having livestock. And it's been probably, I was a teenager last time we had livestock on this farm. So
yeah,
it's exciting times for us. We're getting close again.
Well, I'm going to have you talk more to Sean.
Okay.
Instead of, I know you're talking to me, but it goes better that way. Anthony, this whole thing, there was an old barn and a house over here, wasn't it? Isn't that for your grandpa's?
Yeah, right over here is where the homestead was originally. As a matter of fact, we took down the house earlier this year. And when we took down the house, we actually kept a lot of the logs out of that original log cabin that we're going to do something with it sometime. Had a barn that was built in the early 1900s as well. Unfortunately, we couldn't save it. It was a beautiful old barn.
Yeah.
And took it down. So.
Probably had the old hand-hewn beams and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So it's a beautiful property. There's a lot here, and it's got a whole new a fifth generation life beginning.
When you and I and Sean met, it was back in, gosh, must have been January, February?
I think it was earlier this year.
Yeah,
last year.
Last year, and we came over and looked at it, and it didn't have any fence on it. But when I started walking it, I could see where you planted the fescue and the clovers and things.
Yep. And
I'm like, I think this has got a lot of promise to it, and because you got some topsoil out here. Yeah, there were Rucker where I live. Our topsoil's about like that.
That's what you said. I didn't realize how fortunate we were and how fertile this ground is.
Yeah, so you've had Johnny here pretty much all summer, my dozer guy, and
yep.
He's been clearing up brush, and Isaac and Alex and Joel, we've all been out here building high tensile fence around it. We've got the offsetting fence already put in on your wood fence here. You wanted the wood planking here up close around the house to make it look nice. And I told you when I saw them, like, that's not a cattle fence.
Nope, that's the first thing you said.
And they would be rubbing on that, but they're not going to, folks, because we put 2 hot wires in there. There's one you can see in between that board, and there's one below it. And the one you can't see is a ground wire, which we just stapled right to the post. So there's actually 3 wires there. If they try and go through there, they're going to get shocked. And it's kind of exciting. I mean, we got this pretty much almost fenced, and then you bought another piece over here.
Yep.
Across the creek.
Yep.
And that was part of your family.
That was part of the original family land, exactly. We got it back, and now we're starting down that same path. We'll let it rest for a little while, and we already started putting new fencing up over there. We got our barn and a lot of workspace over there.
I can't believe the work you've done over there. I've had Johnny do to really clean that up.
Oh yeah, Johnny's done a lot for us. He's pretty well been a resident of the farm here for the last 6 months. He's working over here today, as a matter of fact. He's clearing some old locust trees down there in the corner. Yeah. And we've been doing burn piles here for the last couple of weeks too, burning up all the work.
You've had some big brush piles here.
We've had some big ones and some big fires too.
Yeah. We came by here one night. You had one going, Johnny did, and it was glowing embers, and it was about that tall. Yep. Just solid glowing embers.
I won't tell you that we've had 1 or 2 restless nights where we've actually had to be up all night long, kind of just double checking here. But everything's gone well. Yeah. Only had the fire department here once.
For as many fires as you lit, I'd say that's a record.
Once in the last years is not so bad. Not so bad. So.
Well, to the subject at hand here, folks, these are our tree swallow houses that Jan and Isaac and Alex and I built. The lumber was milled from Green Pastures Farm cedars on our own sawmill. We had Doug Thompson make our steel plates here so the woodpeckers can't pick the hole out. And then these, I drilled those in. It's got a 16 penny nail in there. There it is. And it's actually, you can see the cedar, and it smells good.
It does.
Eastern red cedar, folks, is rot resistant. That nail keeps that from coming open. And in the bottom, it's got 4 1/4-inch holes drilled in it. And that's for vents and where the birds, when they pee and stuff, all that liquid can come out the bottom. And then on the sides, it's got vents at the top, and these on the side over here, because the birds can get hot. So you want airflow through there. Mounted to an 1.25-inch fiberglass painted post. And we got the...
And why'd you paint these posts, Greg?
If you don't paint fiberglass, folks, it gets real itchy. You'll get insulation on you, fiberglass, and that's not a pleasant experience. These are super strong posts. So what we've got here is 1/4-inch lag bolts, 7 16-inch heads, and then we're going to put these fender washers on there that Doug has already got bent for us to a radius. So that goes on a lag bolt like that. And I believe these are 4-inch. We're going to show you, we're going to drill and fasten them right onto this post. So Anthony, you're going to hold them in place. Oops, sorry about that.
There we go.
Here's my drill.
That's going to be the headline. Anthony punches Greg Judy in the head.
And then you're going to face it southeast.
I've got a pretty good idea. Now, Sean had his compass out here a few minutes ago, but I was spot on there. So.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and drill my first hole. There we go. And then I've got my stud setter here. Got my concave washer on there. You just go until your washer is good and tight. That way that you don't want the tree saw house to be able to spin. And we've got it really, these are really nice treated posts. I'm gonna let you hold that. Okay. I'm gonna drill the next hole down here. And then we just slap this next one in. It takes just really quick to put these in. There it is.
Why are we doing this? Why are we putting these birdhouses all around this farm?
So the tree swallow houses, what's the deal? Have we gone to the birds? I get that all the time. People say, look at all the bird houses out there. Folks, the tree swallows, an adult pair of tree swallows will eat 8,000 flies a day. Those are the flies that are sucking the blood out of your cattle. When you get up to 500 flies per cow, they can suck 3 gallons of blood per day out of your cows. Do you think that cow's gaining weight? Absolutely not. I'm not gonna go out here and pour all this stuff over my cows, all these pesticides. You can buy the tags and put in their ear, they don't work. All it does is it kills your manure pats and it kills the soil microbes. We're all about nature, and while I love using natural remedies when I can, and that's why we're all about tree soil. I love birds. I love watching them fly. They're very artistic. They kind of look like F-16 fighter jets. They just love it out in the middle of your pastures. They look a little bit like a barn swallow, but they're actually a tree swallow. They have a white belly and blue off the top of their back. And they'll come, they send out scouts sometime toward about the 2nd week of March. So you need to have these up by the 2nd week of March. They'll send scouts out, and then the other birds come behind, like, Joe found a bunch of houses over here, and that's where they come.
And what kind of maintenance is this going to need now?
So only maintenance on this, folks, is that nail you see sticking out there. You just pull that nail out, and the door comes open on the east side. Pull the old nest out and spray it. Spray it with 2 cups Clorox to 2 gallons of water. Mix it up, and I just buy those hand sprayers. And I just take the Kubota, well, you have a gator, and just put one guy in the back and just drive past the post and do it from the back of it. 'Cause these are 8 foot tall.
And that's it. Once a year, do that.
That's it. Now, let me give y'all a little tip. Before you go putting up tree swallow houses, go to the internet and type in tree swallow nesting range. If you live in Arizona, don't be putting these up. You're not going to have them. There's only a certain area that they nest in, and we're in it. So make sure you are in the tree swallow nesting range. Otherwise, you may not get any tree swallows.
I'm asking you all these questions, but how many of these do you need on a farm, or how often? Where else should these be?
So they need to be. Don't put them any closer than 100 feet. I love these questions, by the way.
I've done this before.
When you put them 100 feet, folks, that's perfect. If you go less than 100 feet, the darn things will fight each other. They're very territorial, and they'll spend the whole summer just battling, and they'll never lay any eggs. So make sure you put them at least 100 feet apart. And Sean had a great idea putting them every 200, because you're not going to have enough to do the whole farm right now.
Right.
And then later on, maybe next year, you put in another group in between these at the 100-foot mark. So, yeah, I think it's just another. There's a quote, folks. I'm going to share it with you. For every species that you can attract and make a home for on your farm, it supports 8 additional ones. Think about that. You want to think about your farm as a web of life, like a spider web, you know? So make a home for it, it'll come. Well, how did I get my first tree swallow? I put up a house. And 2 days later, I went out, I about freaked out. There's a darn tree swallow sitting on there. I'd never seen one before. I put up the house and he just appeared. And you're gonna have the same thing.
We're ready.
So,
because as much as we like tree swallows, we don't like flies.
No.
Or Sean doesn't. Sean does not like flies. So
well, you're gonna still have some flies. You're still gonna have some flies,
but less.
The tree swallows do help for that. So, thank you all. On the way out, if you would hit that subscribe button, and check us out at our grazing school. It's gonna be coming up in May with Ian at greenpasturesfarm.net. Check it out.
We'll be there.
All right. See y'all.